ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News on the hour. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. The embattled governor of Adamawa State, Murtala Nyako, has returned to the state after staying away over 2 weeks. The governor and the House of Assembly have been in a face-off on charges of financial misappropriation. Shortly on arrival, he called for calm and understanding of the people in the face of the current challenges.
We are a peace-loving people. We'll find solution. We'll use our kinship. We will use all the traditional institutions, the religious institutions, and the political institutions we have in the country, and the political games necessary for us to calm down the tempo.
The acting chief judge of the state, Ambrose Mamadi, on Thursday dismissed all charges levied against the House of Assembly by the governor. The Senate has now empowered the Independent National Electoral Commission to determine whether to adopt electronic voting for future elections. This was after senators successfully amended the 2010 Electoral Act. The amendment also provided for tenure of office of secretary and also grants the commission the power to duplicate voters' card. Until now, the Electoral Act was not specific on the tenure of INEC secretary, but federal lawmakers have now introduced a renewable 4-year tenure. The Act also grants the Commission 60 days to process transfer of voters or issue duplicate voters' card. The federal government says it has spent 139 billion naira on changing the face of education in the country. Supervising Minister for Education Nyesom Wike told newsmen in Abuja that no government has done more in the sector than the Jonathan administration. He also reeled a list of achievements.
If you have the program, the projected enrollment would be not less than 6,500 of our girls that have access to this kind of school. Now, apart from that, there will be particularly emergency and girls' education.
The senators kicked against alleged plans by the Imo State government to introduce ID cards for northerners residing or doing business in the state. This was on the basis of a motion by Deputy Senate leader Abdul Ningi, who insisted that the policy is capable of creating more harm than good. Although a few senators made a case for restraint, majority are convinced that Governor Okorocha had to be cautioned.
The motion was raised by Deputy Senate leader Abdul Ningi. He contended that plans to introduce ID cards for northerners residing in Imo State was unconstitutional.
This policy could only be successful if security agencies are involved in it. And the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces is the only person that would direct otherwise. Because once you have a policy in a state, it could only be successful if you use the police, the state security, and the military. And that is the wisdom behind this prayer. As whatever the governor tries to do, if he doesn't have the backing of the law enforcement agencies, it will fizzle out.
And in spite of a denial by the state government, many senators were in no mood to tolerate what they say is capable of creating more problems in the country.
Mr. President, sir, my submission is this. Whatever action they each want to take should be guided by the provisions of the Constitution and should be guided by the oath they took as oath of office, that they shall defend all Nigerians, not just the citizens of their states.
The governor of Imo State has brought a lot of infamy and insult upon the name and the people of Imo State. I want to tell you, on behalf of all Imo people, that we believe in the Constitution, that the constitutional provision of free movement, free association, free worship, and all the personal freedoms.
At least one senator preferred to lay the blame on the doorsteps of the federal government.
What happened? Who did or did not do his job well enough to make Nigeria better? But Imo State and its policy or contemplated policy is only ancillary, is only consequential to the inaction or improper action and lackadaisical behavior of the PDP administration in Nigeria.
But a handful of senators do not believe Governor Okorocha was capable of introducing such a policy.
The key word I picked from the earlier speakers is the word investigation. We have not investigated the allegation. We have not bothered to say yes, even in the prayer, we did not state that let a committee go and investigate the veracity of this thing, and we have started condemning and passing judgment.
Rogers is called everywhere, the governor of Imo State, as a northerner. So I don't see how he can. Well, that's what they say. I don't see how he can, because he was born there, he was raised there, everything is done is there. So I don't see how he could make such a statement. So I think, please, we need to investigate so that we can now come back to now condemn, if we want to condemn this order.
At the end of the day, the majority had its way. The Senate unanimously resolved that President Jonathan should prevent the security agencies from aiding the government to implement the policy. Senators also advised Okorocha to reverse the policy in national interest.
Legal practitioners in the country have been charged to dispense justice within a reasonable time frame to erase delay in justice in the country. Oluwaseyi Adegoke was at the conference organized by the Lagos State Ministry of Justice and the Nigerian Bar Association. Her reporters presented from our studios.
The conference on judicial reforms was tagged Delay in Justice Administration Beyond the Rules and Law. It is aimed at reducing delay in justice. The Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says legal practitioners must know that they cannot win all cases, but should narrow down disputes.
But it's not judgment alone. If the judge is now compelled to give judgment within a particular time frame, I think practitioners also must be constrained to present their cases within a particular time frame.
The Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Adeikpaye, says there is improvement in the system, but attention should still be focused on other issues not yet addressed.
Now, the important thing to note this morning is that while the complaints of delay are often addressed to the courts, we all know that administration of justice is not all about courts alone. Litigants themselves and their lawyers are key players that can speed up or slow down the process of adjudication.
Clearly, we will find ways to speed up administration of justice, so that justice is not delayed to a point that is truly justice denied. Because the more ordinary people experience this and find that they cannot get justice, the more the system loses its legitimacy. And as legitimacy is eroded, people find that the only way they can get, in their view, what is justice is by taking the laws into their hands.
The judiciary, however, says judicial reforms must be a continuous exercise to erase delay in justice administration.
The military authorities have again denied allegations of human rights abuse levied against soldiers operating in the Northeast. Defense spokesman Major General Chris Olukolade says Nigerian troops waging war against insurgents have been operating in line with best international practice.
Accusations of
human rights abuse will be investigated whenever it is believed to have occurred. And I must call your attention to the fact that this has become a stock in trade of organizations that have doubt about our ability to maintain integrity in our operations. But be sure that this remains a professional force. We are conducting our activities in the most professional manner, and we will stand by that. And until proved otherwise, we don't agree that these allegations hold until it can be proved. But the obligation we have is to investigate it, and when such allegations come, we do investigate them. Your other allegations are simply in the spirit of the other criticism that are, typical.
The police authorities have convened an emergency meeting with senior officers to appraise the overall security situation. Inspector General Muhammad Abubakar presided over the meeting that also had zonal AIGs and the command CPs in attendance. Police spokesman Frank Ombas said in a statement that the IG urged senior officers to evolve new intelligence gathering and crime-fighting techniques and methodologies to suit their respective local challenges. He added that the Inspector General of Police also charged them to improve on their surveillance network and ensure high police visibility across the country. The police chiefs are also to commence early preparations for the 2015 general elections through conducting adequate threat analysis and intensifying capacity building for electoral policing best practices. As the fight against insurgents in Nigeria takes a new turn, the police authorities are keen to impart adequate knowledge on tackling insurgency on the rank and file. The police management team has commissioned a special study center of the National Open University in one of its barracks in ABU. Inspector General of Police Muhammad Abubakar said this will allow officers and men to acquire knowledge without going far from their place of primary assignment. Although the National Open University is situated in the barracks, the police say it will also be open to members of the public. Leaders of the People's Democratic Party in Osun State have condemned the state of the economy in the state under the incumbent governor, Rauf Aregbesola. Frank Omalape has details.
While speaking on the state of the economy under the current administration of Governor Rauf Aregbesola, leaders of the PDP say the management of the state economy is an abject failure.
The whole of Osun State, the economy is in shambles. If you see some artisans, the tailors all over Osun State, the job has been taken over by a company owned by the kinsman of Aregbe, because the uniform being purchased by the clothes sellers in the markets are being taken over. So all the uniforms used in the schools are taken over. So that sector has been paralyzed. The economy of that sector has been paralyzed.
They accuse the government of impoverishing the people of the state with capital flight.
Since the creation of this state, we have never experienced this kind of suffering before. And the reason is complete capital flight. The APC government has embarked on an unprecedented capital flight from all aspects of governance in Osun State to Lagos. So people have been seriously impoverished to the extent that people cannot afford 3 square meters per day. And they know that the only option they have is to vote him out. And that is why you see people expressing their readiness to support Senator Yellow Missouri.
The governorship candidate of the party says the party is on a rescue mission.
So no road, you can see no road there, no water, no light, nothing. So we're going to improve, we're going to start a brand new state. This is our mission is rescue mission. We're in emergency state now. State of depletion, where fraud is the order of the day, where nepotism is the order, not indebtedness, schools are in bad shape, commerce in comatose. So what else to talk?
While the PDP continue to tack up its chances and raise issues with the management of the state's resources, it is certainly not the last word about the issue. Frank Omalape, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
Still in Osun State, the People's Democratic Party has begun a massive campaign in its final phase of the campaign. We have Frank Omalape again bringing details.
The PDP governorship candidate in August 9 election, Eniola Omisore, will start off his campaign in Ife South by proceeding to pay homage to his father, Oba Olajide David Omisore, the Olu of Ayekpe, Olode, to receive his blessings. The campaign train later moved to the campaign ground with the candidate Eniola Omisore and his running mate Adija Bello taking turns to address the massive crowd. Party faithfuls say the campaign is a movement for a new Osun.
But as it is now, the Yorubas have decided the movement is towards Eniola Omisore and PDP. So once the movement is towards you, there's not anybody can. You can't stop the movement.
You can see for yourself the people, by their coming out in this large number, have shown in clear terms their preference for PDP, their preference for Eniola Omisore, and it is clear, God willing, everything being equal, with massive votes, PDP shall win the August 9 gubernatorial election in Osun State.
To make this place as a hub of activities is not a surprise at all. It's a manifestation of the fact that people are really ready for a change here.
Eniola Omisore says his supporters will vote massively in the August 9 election.
Well, you know we are ready now because we are working hard from word to word, town to town, village to village, because the vote must count. The government is preaching violence, but the vote will count. That's why we are working hard. They are planning to agree, but we are planning to meet our people. These are my people who will vote en masse for Omisore.
The PDP rally shows the readiness of the party ahead the election, but the question of who wins the election depends on the people of Osun. Frank Omalape, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
The presidency is to establish agriculture clubs in selected schools in 12 states of the Federation. This is part of a comprehensive agriculture program designed to introduce young Nigerians to opportunities in the sector. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Schools Agriculture Program, Baraka Sani, disclosed this at her maiden press briefing in Abuja.
Development of positive attitude towards agriculture, equipping school leavers for job opportunities through practical teaching of skills for life, building entrepreneurship skills in students to run agriculture as a business, to offer the young farmers a voice, most importantly to create a stronger spirit of working together and unity amongst students.
It's the CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News. a 24-hour news station.
Thank you so much for being there. The United Nations reassured West Africa that the world's deadliest Ebola epidemic could be stopped in its tracks. The United Nations told West Africa's health ministers that the crisis can be handled. The highly contagious tropical bug has infected hundreds of people in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone, with the latest World Health Organization figures showing that confirmed or suspected cases had left 467 people dead. The WHO has warned that Ebola could spread to other countries and that those hardest hit could struggle to contain the
Our
disease.
biggest challenge is the cultural beliefs. Currently, people do not believe Ebola even exists. They believe it is witchcraft or something else. And so that is helping to spread the disease.
Most of the people living around these borders are very much connected in terms of ethnicity and trade and other social activities. So you don't really differentiate between these populations around the borders in these countries. So that gives it a very high possibility of spreading across borders to other countries.
It's very hard to absolutely stop the spread of diseases because people cross borders, people get in cars, people get in airplanes, and this is how these diseases move around. So the most important thing that we can do is to make sure that people understand what is the situation, so health workers understand that if they see somebody who is sick, this is a possibility, to make sure that information gets to the right authorities so that the key actions needed to stop it can be put into place.
11 Palestinians were wounded when Israel pounded targets in Gaza as militants kept up a volley of cross-border fire with rockets hitting 2 houses in the Israeli south. Although there was no immediate sign of a return to the violent clashes which had engulfed East Jerusalem lately following the kidnap and murder of a Palestinian teenager in a suspected revenge attack after 3 Israeli teens were abducted and killed. The pre-dawn raids came after nearly a dozen rockets struck southern Israel, 2 of which were intercepted by the Iron Dome anti-missile system, the army said. One scored a direct hit on a house in Derot, causing an electrical outage across the town, police said. Even after the raids, the rocket's fire continued with another projectile hitting a second house in the town. The army said that nobody was injured. And that's the news for this time. Join us again top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I'm Ebulomo Adekunle.